Hi, we just completed our amazing race through the 4Cs using Seesaw. It was a lot of fun. It was a really engaging PD for all of our teachers. There was tons of collaboration, creativity, and of course, critical thinking and communication. So how we set it up was kind of through the Amazing Race various different challenges.
So we had a Seesaw supply table, which was all of the hands-on manipulatives that they needed. So big dice, basketballs, cups, a variety of things just in case they wanted to get creative. On each table, we also had fidget baskets. So within their workspace, they could also pull from there or just use them as kind of inspiration.
Right. And these fidget baskets were filled with Post-it notes to stress balls to markers.
Slap bracelets, everything.
All right, so we began with our objectives, and we shared this all through Seesaw. We didn't make any presentation today. I know you really can't see it that well, but we really wanted to immerse them in a 4Cs experience. Really important to us, using all modalities of learning. So people were not here to sit and get PD. They were here with their running shoes on, like we told them to, and they were moving around. So we had all type of modalities incorporated in today. And they definitely had to work outside of their comfort zone. We tried to create an environment that was safe, and they felt like they could take a risk.
For us, it's all about starting with building a community so that they're willing to take those risks. And we also try and hit every type of learning style, whether it's kinesthetic, auditory, or visual. We want everybody to feel comfortable and feel like an expert on some component of the day.
So we began our day with going through kind of how Seesaw works, and how we introduced how Seesaw kind of works is we introduced book snaps to our learners. So to kind of go with the Amazing Race theme, we printed out kind of some travel brochures, yeah, and really just had them kind of go through our feed a little bit, but
so they each got a travel brochure, and then we asked them just to take a picture of a part that kind of resonated with them, was interesting, and then each teacher kind of annotated directly on that picture. So whether it was circling with a specific color, maybe main idea was circled in red, maybe the detail was circled in green, or added an emoji, because sometimes we use think marks instead of, longer annotations. So they could have added a question mark or even a smiley face or some kind of emoji that described how they were feeling about that particular part of the passage.
So first thing they also had experience with using the photo, using the labeling text features, and using the drawing tools, and then some even added some audio. So from there, we went into getting into teams. So they had to develop a team, get with a group and develop a team name, and then they added audio in with a slogan. So we had lots of different teams, and once again, they practiced with the labeling feature, changing the colors, and doing different things.
It's really cool when you get that investment because you've started with building that community where your teachers are dedicated to what you're doing, the purpose for them being here, and they're willing to kind of step outside of their comfort zone. So we got some really cool pieces of work from all of them today.
So by 8:40, 40 minutes into our session, we were ready to begin the official first round. So our first round was critical thinking. So each group was handed we had envelopes for each group, and each category had route info, and then it was a detour, and then roadblock. Okay, so they had to go in this order. So each activity built on each other. So our first thing was for them to do was they ran into another room, the media center that was next door, and they had to find different pennies related to their birth year, or a penny with a year that had significance in their life.
We told them make sure you save any artifact that you grab from a previous step because it might be used along the way, which was the case in this particular challenge. When they got to their detour for critical thinking, they then had to create something in Seesaw using those pennies.
So some teachers chose to group their pennies in different ways. Some decided to create a word problem. And just by looking at the feed, you saw that there was lots of different options that were created. Some people did dull and shiny. Some people did by birth years. Some people then made the word problem using then notes.
So it's just interesting to kind of incorporate a content area like math into this Seesaw experience with them, and just to see all of the variety of ways that they interpreted the question and produced a creative artifact.
Then it was time for the roadblock. And at the roadblock, our roadblocks were really mostly a lot of app smashing going on. So they had to do a couple things going on. They had to use the app number frames, and by adding up all their birth years, and then they had to divide by how many people, and then they had to make that in number of frames. And then they had to take a screenshot and add it into PicKids, and then add the PicKids into Seesaw.
So the purpose for using PicKids was so that they explained their process, because as we know, it's not about the product, it's about the process. So they added all of the steps that they took along the way so that they could upload a collage to Seesaw, and somebody just coming in and not knowing what the project was about could obviously see what was going on.
All right. So then they finished those challenges, and they went into round 2, and that was creativity.
So the whole theme was about being creative and trying new things, both with Seesaw and with different apps. So we kind of pushed ourselves out of our comfort zone, and we created a mystery video.
And so it was a little mystery, a video of where we were. It started out, they had to figure out where we were somewhere in the school district.
Mm-hmm. So they had to use clues that they saw within the video, with what they heard in the video, and we said they could guess as many times as they wanted, but they would get penalized for every wrong guess. So the idea was that they'd put their guess on a Google form, which would be linked in Seesaw, and then we'd be able to respond to their answers and let them move forward.
All right, and then that was what they had. Then it was a detour time. So they had a choice to either to make their own mystery location or to do a staycation postcard using Instant Alpha and Pages. So we had some groups go to They went to different places around the school, and this group went to the nurse's office. We had others.
And then they posted their video to Seesaw, where other people in the class could comment and put their guesses.
And we had some who used our mystery location and put themselves in there using Instant Alpha and Pages. And we were not teaching how to do any of this. They were all working together, collaborating as a team. You think about how many 4Cs are amongst every single one of these lessons. It was not a sit and get them, okay, everyone go to the plus sign. They were doing it on their own way, working together. We used the bike. Someone found a bike in a hallway, so it was a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun. It
was very creative. I think one thing about our detours is that we always gave a choice. So an either or. So there could be a physical component or more of a mental or creation component. So wherever they were comfortable, they got to choose. Or if they wanted to try something that made them uncomfortable, they were pushing themselves to take a risk.
And to keep one of the Amazing Race themes going on and keep one of the characters of the Amazing Race, we introduced the gnome. So then they had to go find the gnome around the building and then create a Chatterpix. And the gnome talked. They were kind of funny how they...
The gnome was supposed to encourage the Amazing Race to come to Orland and give some reasons why Orland School District is such a wonderful place to work and live in. So it was interesting to see their interpretations of the Chatterpix gnome.
Yes. All right, and then they finished that, and then we went on to round 3, and round 3 was collaboration. And this was neat. We explored with the app, Shadow Puppet EDU, Puppet EDU, and they had to, keeping with the travel theme, they had to then create a short video about a cool place to visit.
And this, after looking at our feedback, was one that really resonated with teachers, and they further explored Puppet EDU to kind of discover some new ways that they could revamp some of their old lessons or try something new for the beginning of the year. For us, it's really important that we give our learners time to explore, but also to create. So this was a really big success for us today.
Yes, and then the next thing they had to do was we wanted to show the feature that they can edit in Seesaw. So what was great was, where are we at? Collaboration. Sorry.
In our detour this round, they had 2 options. They could do a math project or they could do reading. So we created just a quick little reading assessment of sight words, and they color-coded them, or they could take dice and roll and do a math game. So we just wanted to show the simplicity of the features within Seesaw and how you could easily create centers for both content areas for math and reading.
All right, and then we wanted to do another kind of like moving physical activity. So we kind of did, in some countries, people carry, different items on their heads. So when we're in school, so we had them carry different books on their heads. So it was a challenge then to kind of balance books on their heads and then take those pictures of all their group members and once again put it into Pick Kids and put it up on Seesaw. So that was fun once again, trying to combine those different apps possibilities of the different things.
But we also didn't limit them to the apps. We also said, use an app of your choice. And so sometimes they use something different that we didn't really expect, but worked out just as nicely as the one that we had offered.
All right, and then our last one was communication. And this was kind of definitely a wrap up, but we also wanted them to connect outside of our room that we were in here. So we used InstaQuote, and the students then had to, or the educators, had to make an InstaQuote of why to use Seesaw, and then they had to tweet it out. So just InstaQuote is a quick tool to kind of get a quote down or a goal. So that's what we like to use it for during our PD sessions.
But it looks really polished, it looks really professional, and it's just a really nice way to showcase even just summarizing a piece of writing.
Mm-hmm.
So just familiarizing them with that and how easy it is to upload to Seesaw.
And then the next one they had to take a choice in their detour was either they had to take a slow motion video of someone playing basketball, so they would run to the gym, or they're doing a cup challenge. So we have a couple cute ones here. Then they got some app smashing. So we had some time lapse being done with the red Solo cup here. But then we had them drop it in iMovie. This is on their own, and they added in background music playing from another iPad. So it was just neat how people just took it to another level to make it how they wanted it.
So our idea here is that teachers can create tutorial videos for physical education, for centers, for reading, to demonstrate what they want their students to be doing while the teacher is working with another small group.
And even though you think about all like science, it's all about inquiry-based, for them to be able to make quick videos or use time-lapse over time of how something's changing over time, it's a great quick way. And once again, Seesaw is great so they could see each other. So there was a lot of fun. And then the last one was we wanted to kind of end. So this is our last 4C. We wanted to kind of create kind of some final ending. So they had to create a paper slides about their experience today. So some used stop motion, some just used Post-its and different things that were around the room. So you can see we had...
And we didn't teach paper slides at all.
Mm-hmm.
We put a tutorial or an example in Seesaw for them to refer to, and then they just created.
So that you can see they kind of had lots of different Post-its and they went through their experience.
They really used the fidget baskets just to kind of make it more dynamic and interesting. But then we had another group who created more of like a mind map,
Yes.
where the map kind of was just in one spot and they didn't do as much moving, but it still demonstrated what they knew and what they learned. So it was a cool way to assess kind of how our day went.
And then they saw the audio feature of how they made the paper, and then they had the audio in there too. So that was awesome. So it was great. We had awesome feedback. People loved, just being around. They said it was a lot of fun, lots of different takeaways. And it was funny, like we said, we were not expecting some of the takeaways that happened, but it was great and how it was an awesome day. So we totally loved doing the Amazing Race through the 4 C's of Seesaw. So
Highly recommend it. Lots of fun. We did a lot of work up front, and so today we were really able to just sit back and kind of enjoy all the really cool conversations that were going on about education.
That's great. Thanks.
Thank you.